processing fibers into wool. Silk, life history of silk, silkworm and processing of silk. So what comes to your mind when you think of terms fiber and fabric? Now forget about fibers, think of the fabric. Fabric refers to the first thing which come in your mind is the clothes that you wear. During summer you wear clothes made up of cotton. You prefer wearing cotton during summer because they keep you cool. During winter you wear woolen clothes. Not only cotton and wool, there are a variety of things which are available in the market. For example, you have silk, polyester, curtain, the thing which are made up of the material through which the curtains are made, terracotta, polycot. There are a lot of different fabric which are available in the market, and they are used for making clothes, carpets, curtains, and many things like that. Okay, now in this lesson we are going to talk about some of the important fabrics. Now mostly we will talk about the natural fibers. That is, mostly we are going to discuss about the wool and silk. So when I say silk, the first thing that you can relate to is the traditional silk sarees in India. You also have the dresses which is made up of silk. When I say wool, what you can think of? The woolen clothes, the jackets, the sweaters, the caps, socks which you wear during winter. So here we are going to discuss about what all things involve, like processing through which the entire process of silk and the entire process of wool, and that is going to be our agenda in this lesson. Now before that, let us try to understand what are fibers, because these are the fabrics. Like if I say silk, or I say cottons, or I say polycotton, they are all fabric which are for which the clothes are made up of. But for our fibers, so fibers are the thread-like structure which form the fabric. So if you look at the woolen sweater, or if you look at the wool itself consists of a lots of thin threads, a filament-like structure. So these threads, they are nothing but a fiber. So fibers together form when they woven together, they form a fabric. So these are the thread-like structure which forms the constituent of various composite materials. So what sort of materials? Like when you talk about wool, it is made up of some thread-like structure. If you talk about silk, silk is also made up of threads. So if you try to closely look at the silk cloth which you have, so when you look at the cloth, you really do not see the thread, but when you look at the corner of the cloth, then you find that it is also made up of a thin thread. So all these thin thread-like structure, they are called fiber. So silk is made up of silk fiber, wool is made up of woolen fiber, and so on. Now when we talk about the types of fibers, they are broadly classified into two types, that is natural fibers and artificial fibers. Natural, anything which is natural, that means it exists in nature. So we do not produce it, we do not make it by so these the fiber which are obtained from plant or animal sources, they are called natural fibers. So let me give you one example, like silk. Silk is an example. Silk is obtained from a silkworm, and silkworm, what is silkworm? It is a tiny insect. So it is like how you have a caterpillars, the small worms. So from those worms a natural silk is obtained. So that is the animal from where you obtain the silk. Similarly, if you talk about the wool is obtained from a lot of animals like goat, sheep, camels, yak. So all these animals, they are the sources for the wool fiber, woolen fiber. Similarly, you think of other example like cotton. Cotton is obtained from the cotton plant. So this is the cotton plant. We talk about flax, jute, hemp, cord, tree wood. These are all obtained from plant, different types of plants. On the screen also you can see the different plant from where the many natural fibers are obtained. Only wool and silk, these are the two examples which are obtained from animal sources. So that is why wool and silk, these are the example of animal fiber because they are obtained from animals, whereas these are the example of plant fiber because they are obtained from plant. So all these fibers are called natural fibers because these plants, they existed in nature. We do not artificially produce them. In fact, you would have also seen the clothes which are made up of linen. They are also obtained from flax. So these are all example of natural fibers. However, these days you would have seen that you get to see dress material which are made up of fabric which look similar to that silk or cotton but they are not natural silk or natural cotton. Therefore, they are obtained at a cheaper price. Their look is almost the same. So that is where come the existence of artificial fibers. So as the name suggests, they do not exist in nature. They are man-made fiber. They are also known as synthetic fiber. For some of the examples are nylon, rayon and polyester. Rayon is also known as artificial silk. They also have that shiny appearance like silk. So if you actually look at the cloth made up of rayon, it has that appearance of silk. So it is called artificial silk. But silk, since it is not obtained naturally, so its production is under the control of living beings. So if we want to get more rayon, we have to produce more rayon. So it is comparatively cheaper and available at lower cost as compared to the natural silks. Polyester is another example. So as I discussed, based on the sources of these natural fibers, those fibers which exist in nature, whether they are obtained from plant or animal sources, they are classified as a plant or animal fibers. So example of plant fibers would be cotton, jute, linen, flax, coir. These are all example of plant fiber. Cotton, jute, flax, hemp, coir. So they are all example of plant fiber. Whereas wool is an example of animal fiber because it is obtained mostly from animals like sheep, yak, goat, etc. Also, silk is an example of a natural fiber because it is obtained from silkworm. Silkworm is a caterpillar stage of the silk moth. So silk moth looks somewhat little similar to the butterfly, but it has the life cycle. Once it reaches to the silkworm stage, during this stage it produces silk. So silk and wool are example of the animal fiber which are obtained from animal. So now we are going to talk about wool in more detail. So first, let us talk about the sources of wool. As I said, these are obtained from the hair of the animal. It is obtained from the hair of the animal. Hair means there are a lot of animals which have hair all over their body. Like in case of human being, we also have a hair. Not only in our hair, we have much body hair also. So sheep also, it has a fur-like structure all over his body. And why they have fur all over his body? Because it keeps them warm. Now this enables them to survive in extremely cold places. So when we want wool, what we done is the hair of the animal body along with a thin layer of skin is taken out. Now it doesn't harm the animal, it doesn't hurt the animal because the topmost layer of the skin is like a dead skin. So even if you remove it, it doesn't hurt. So now since we want to get wool, so these kind of wool would be seen only in case of fat animals, okay? Whenever we think of a wool, the first thing that comes to our mind is, when we talk about the source of wool, the first animal that strikes our mind is the white sheep. But in reality, the wool can be obtained from many other animals as well as a yak, goat, camel, etc. Now this wool which is obtained from these animals, it can be range from soft and silky to some core, some strong as well. So some wool can be soft, some of them can be silky, while some other can be rough and strong as well. So there are different varieties of wool that can be obtained from different animals, because not all animals have the same kind of skin hair. Different animals have a different type of hair, so you will have a different type of wool. Now it can be converted into small folds so that it can stay together and can be woven together to form sweater, jacket, whatever the thing. So this is how we obtain wool from the skin of the fat animals. As I said, different animal will get different wool, give different wool, and it is used for different purposes. For example, this soft and silky wool can be used for making clothes like sweaters, jackets, caps, etc. Whereas the rough and strong wool can be used for making rugs. Okay. So let us talk about some of the popular wool animals which can give us wool. So the most common wool animal is the sheep. It can produce many different type of wool, like fine wool, which can be used for clothing, for making clothes. It can also produce medium to coarse wool, which can again be used for making wool yarns. It can also be produce the spun thread, which can be used for weaving, sewing, etc. So sheep can actually produce a lot of variety of wool, which can be used for many different purposes. Not only sheep, goat can also produce different variety of wool. There are different types of goat which provide different type of wool. For example, the pashmina shawl, which is very popular from the Kashmir, that also comes from the Kashmiri goat. So pashmina is example. So you would have seen in this pashmina shawl that the wool is very, very soft. At the same time, it is very warm. So it is very soft and light, and it is very warm. So it has both the advantages. There is also another type of goat called Angora goat, from where we get another type of wool that is called mohair. Llamas are again, which are very common in South America. They look like camels. They also produce coarse wool, but this wool is produced only once in a year. So this wool is very hard and coarse, and therefore used for making robes or rugs. So rugs are nothing but thick woolen cover, which are generally used for wrapping the entire body, mostly during traveling. So this is also quite popular. So you see, yak also. Yak is another animal which is used to produce rough fat coat. So you see, these are mostly the animals, wool animals, and all of them different types of wool. So now we will take an example of sheep to understand the entire process of obtaining wool. Now the first thing we do is taking care of the sheep, because these are the animals which are able to give us, which is something very important to us. So it is important to take care of these animals. So what do we mean by rearing? Rearing involves feeding sheep appropriately, taking proper care, maintaining good hygiene so that they do not suffer from any kind of diseases. So it's like overall taking proper care of animals. Now generally they are herbivores. They mostly feed on grasses, leaves and plants. So they are herbivores. They are directly depend on plant. However, they also feed on pulses, corn, grains, dry fodder. These are also some of the food items for sheep. It is also equally important to maintain the proper hygiene, because if proper hygiene is not maintained, there are chances that they might get infected with some disease that would make them ill, and also that would reduce the productivity of wool. Now the next thing need to be taken care of is breeding of sheep. When we talk about breeding, we talk about the good quality of sheep which needs to be maintained so that the new sheep it is also of a good quality. So sheep are selectively bred to produce good quality sheep. Now what do you mean by selectively breeding a bred? It means we choose the good quality sheep and we allow them to mate with each other so that the offspring which are produced, they are also of good quality. So what are the quality that we are looking at in a sheep? So we see that the sheep from the new sheep which is being produced should have thick hair growth. Different type of sheep have different type of hair in their body. Some have coarse hair, some might have fine hairs. So the parents are specifically chosen so that they can give birth to a sheep which have good quality soft hair to obtain wool. So that's how we should have the requirement in our mind. What kind of sheep do we want so that it can give us good quality of wool? So depending on that, we are selecting the parents. Okay. So we need to make sure that we allow mating the good quality of sheep so that we get good quality of wool. So now let us look the entire process by which wool is processed. So we got to know and how do we take care of these animals and how we get the wool. So it involves a lot of steps. It starts from the obtaining the skin of the animal, but we cannot use the skin of the animal for making sweater. So it needs to be processed and there are a lot of things that need to be done before it is obtained, before we receive them as a wool yarn on shops. So the first is shearing, scouring, sorting, burr picking, dyeing, rolling into yarn. So these all are the steps. So let us discuss all these steps one by one. Okay. So we start with shearing. So this is the process of removal of woolly covering along with a thin layer of skin. But here actually the layer of the thin, it does not get the animal did not get harmed by removing of the thin layer of skin because it was a dead skin. Okay. Sometimes you get cut, you get some wound. Gradually your wound heals and that layer of the skin that it just get removed from your body. So once that skin become dead, does it give you pain? No. So in the similar way, the uppermost layer of the skin in the sheep is a dead skin, so that can be removed. It doesn't give pain to the sheep. It is something like when a person sheep he doesn't feel anything because when a person shave, because when it shave it doesn't feel any pain because it was the upper layer of the hair. Okay. If somebody cut your hair, do you feel the pain? No. But if somebody pull your hair, you feel pain. So during shaving you do not feel pain. Like when somebody is cutting your hair, you do not feel pain, but when somebody is pulling your hair, you feel pain. The feel of pain is due to your brain, because brain is actually telling you that something is paining in your body, and here they don't have any nerves. Okay, hair don't have any nerves. So when somebody is cutting your hair, so there is no nerves, so nobody to send that information to the brain and you do not feel the pain. But somebody when pulling your hair, they are connected to the hair follicles and that are attached to the nerves. So when somebody is pulling hair, the follicle also pulled and the nerves are also informed. So once the nerves are informed, they will send the information to the brain and you will be able to feel that pain. So similar concept applies for sheep as well. For them also the hair do not have any nerves, so they don't send any message to the brain. and they do not feel any pain. And moreover, the topmost layer is the dead skin. Now this process is done during summers. Okay, because after removal the animal feel cold. Okay, so therefore this process is done during the summer so that they can survive even without the woolly covering and without their hairs, and when in winter come they will be able to have more hairs on their body because it naturally grow on their body. So by the time it is winter, the proper growth of hair, they have the proper growth of hair and they will be survive. So this is the process of shearing. Now the next process is scouring, which we will discuss in the next video. I hope this is up to this is clear to you. Still you have any doubt, you can ask me in your Zoom class. Thank you, students.